I'm a singer, I'm a drummer. Either of those two would do.
Welcome to the A to Z of Phil Collins.
I'll take it a check, but I prefer the cash.
The idea behind this podcast is to take a journey through the life and music of Phil Collins.
When I said yes to do the job, it was just to write the songs. But as I did the demos, they decided they couldn't see anybody else singing them.
We'll talk about events like Band Aid.
It was an ego-free day.
Pay tribute to friends like Eric Clapton and Robert Plant, and tackle subjects including reunions, gorillas, and the importance of a good drum fill. Stories, songs, memories, each one represented by a different letter from A to Z.
I always used to watch the Oscars, and you wonder what it's like to be up there, and then suddenly you get an opportunity.
And the winner is...
Everything I've done has been really a bit like jazz.
This is the A to Z of Phil Collins podcast.
With me, Phil Collins.
Hello and welcome to this, the very final episode of the A to Z of Phil Collins podcast. Over the past 5 episodes, Phil Collins and myself, Matt Everett, have been journeying across the alphabet with stories, songs and memories from Phil's life and career so far. And now we reach the end, the last few letters from T to Z, the finale. And we'll look at the love of Phil's songs amongst the big names from the urban music community, Youssou N'Dour and more. But we'll start with something Phil has been doing a lot of in recent years, but something he never thought he'd do again. T. T is for touring.
The audiences have been fantastic. Wherever it's been, with South America, there's huge football stadiums. Australia, we hadn't been to for God knows how many years, and that was incredible. So far, it's been wonderful. The band are enjoying it, and for short bursts of energy, So when the time comes to finish, you're still enjoying it.
What was the first show like?
First show was in Liverpool. The audience were lovely. When I came out, they kind of stood up and thought, it was everything about it was memorable. Great review. Then we went from there. I think we went to Sheffield, and then we went to London. I think that was what happened. But the demand for tickets, and we were all up for it, and it was the audience were up for it, and it was great fun.
It must have felt really good.
Yeah,
because it is stepping off the edge of the cliff again and not knowing quite how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's like that a little bit every night, because you can't say to people, "Well, he should have been here last night. It was great." You're going to be good tonight. So I was very, very chuffed that the audience took to it, and the band are, playing better and better every gig.
U is for Urban Renewal, a 2001 compilation album featuring Phil's songs done by R&B, soul and hip-hop artists.
Old Dirty Bastard's version of Sussudio is great. And it's really good. I was listening to it the other day. That must be nice. It's always lovely to get the respect of one's contemporaries, but it's something to get the respect of people who come from a completely different musical background to you do. And there's this whole R&B hip-hop world that, it's got a lot of love, PC. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, Warner's said they wanted to try to get this album done. I said, well, good luck, but I don't want anything to do with it, because this is your thing. It's just I don't want to slap myself on the back. So, they gave some money to some people that never came back. I think that's what I heard. But I remember sitting in a room listening to it with the Warner's people, and I didn't know what to expect. There are some things in there which are quite inspired, I haven't heard it since then, but there's quite a few people in there that did a good job.
It's that nice thing, isn't it, when you see unexpected people name-dropping you and using your music as a reference. That's a nice point to get to as well, I think.
Yeah, it's all a pleasant surprise to me, what can I say? It's, I don't come across it myself, my daughter, maybe Lily, she'll text me and say, have you heard what so-and-so said? And I know, and I'll go and maybe look it up, or she'll tell me. So it's cool. I'm very happy about that. That's one of the, getting praise from other people in your business, especially, as you say, from different walks of the musical life. It's great to have something positive said. You're listening to the A to Z of Phil Collins with me, Phil Collins.
V. V is for vertebra.
I can't imagine how difficult that was. What the medical process that you went through.
Well, I mean, it was, people go through it every day, I mean, there's lots wrong with me. There's hands that won't behave themselves, there's the back that hurts, I can't, I've got dropped foot, I've got a knee that needs replacing. It's just been playing drums since I was 5, and I think some of it, the bits have just worn out, I can still sing, so I sit on the chair and sing, and no one's complained yet, which is a good sign. So, it's something that my back needed to be dealt with. Unfortunately, it left me with a couple of other injuries which have stopped me being able to play.
W. W is for wealth.
What did you do with your first big royalty check? That first one when you're like, all right, okay, I've been waiting for this. What did you do with it?
There's a PRS, Performing Rights Society.
Yeah.
They used to send checks to the writers rather than go through agents or managers or whatever. They sent it direct to the writers every 6 months. And I remember hearing Ray Davies talk about this. He used to sit by the letterbox waiting. And I think he's not wrong by assuming that the rest of us did too, because it was mine. This is mine. They can't take 25% of this, or whatever. So what did I do with it? I don't remember what I did with it. I just saved it. My mum told me to save for a rainy day, so I did.
She said, excuse me, but do you remember me? I said, no, I don't believe I do. So she looked me up and down and undressed me with her eyes. Then she said, you got everything I need.
W is also for wear my hat.
So I said, okay, you can wear my hat, you can have my coat, you can take my shirt, 'cause I don't need it. You can wear my shoes, you can take my socks, come take my bag, it's yours. If you love it, you can have it if you love it. Ain't no problem if you love it. Come and take it if you love it.
X. X is for X-ray.
When was the last kind of checkup you had, and how are you doing right now? We touched on this earlier, but...
Yeah. Right now, well, I have X-rays pretty regularly for one thing or another. I'm doing okay now,
Good.
apart from the bits that are wrong, The bits that are wrong aren't going to get any better, probably.
Right.
So I'm kind of stuck with a stick and limping around. But that's okay.
Y. Y is for Youssou N'Dour and his impact on the 1996 album Dance Into the Light.
Come dance with me. Come on and dance into the light. Oh, everybody dance into the light.
Yeah, I mean, I got to know him a little bit, and we started to he started to send me tapes to work on, to collaborate on something, He has a wonderful voice, fantastic energy, and his band is wonderful. And that period when I was going to Montreux Jazz Festival to see him and listening to his records, it kind of It's very bright, very, optimistic, if you like. So, I found him influential to some extent. Certainly on Dancing to the Light, that where on a few tracks, his approach I used. But yeah, he's a world-class talent. There's a lot of Senegalese and West African music that is, wonderful from a rhythm point of view and spirit point of view. You're listening to the A to Z of Phil Collins with me, Phil Collins.
Y is for, of course, You Can't Hurry Love.
Honey, love, ooh, ease my mind. And I need to find time, someone to call mine. My mama said you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy, but it's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love.
So the final letter, we've reached Z or Z. If you're American, take your pick. I don't mind. And so Z or Z is for Zoinol, Lava, which is a track that Phil did with experimental producer Brian Eno.
Because you were kind of there at the kind of the invention of ambient music, pretty much.
Yeah,
with
Eno, yeah. I mean, I can't picture what Zoinol Lava sounds like.
It's pretty ambient.
Yeah, but Zoinol is the same Zoinol from Joe Zawinul that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, those sessions with Eno were very refreshing. I mean, because I was starting to work on my own at home, and that's what he did. And when he called me up to do what became Another Green World, and then Before and After Science, and then Music for Films, he'd just throw a few random ideas out in the room, and the people that were there, we picked it up and ran with it. And then he'd use it. I mean, he'd use things that he did at home on his records, and that encouraged me to use my demos.
Okay.
Because all my records were my demos with stuff added onto them in a studio. I never went in there with a band. 1 or 2 songs we did that later, but normally it was just me left to my own devices, and then bring in people to overdub on top of them. So you could always have that bass that you liked in the original version. You always have the basis of the song. Yeah, he's quite a brilliant guy. I mean, we've stayed in touch a little bit. Yeah, very interesting guy.
That's it. That's our A to Z. I mean, how was that? Was that all right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. This kind of thing always makes you think of things you hadn't thought of for a long time.
Do you enjoy this kind of stuff?
Huh?
Do you enjoy this element of it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, this kind of thing, yeah. I mean, I always, how did you join Genesis? Or tell me about Sussudio.
Where did you get the name Sussudio from? You notice we didn't ask that.
No.
At some point.
Well done.
It's been very good to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's it. That's the end of the A to Z of Phil Collins podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening and learnt something unexpected and surprising about Phil's life and music, all from the man himself. The previous episodes of the podcast are up online now, so subscribe to go back and hear the whole of the A to Z from start to finish. I've been your host, Matt Everett. The producer was Kelly Redmond, and this has been a Cup and Nuzzle production.